What's up YouTube? Capital G here. Got an excellent and exciting duel for you guys to check out. This one is going to be full of back and forth. This is pretty much the definition of a very epic duel that you're not even going to be able to predict who really is going to win this. I promise you guys, until the last moment you will be guessing as to who has the edge and who is ultimately going to win this duel. Now this is not competitive. Obviously we have two decks that are kind of made up of a bunch of like low tier archetypes. In fact, they're both hybrid builds. At the top you guys see a bunch of Mecha Phantom Beasts in the opening hand, but it's not just Mecha Phantom Beasts. He has some Speedroids in here because obviously they're both wins, so you get a little bit of natural synergy, and he's even teching some copies of Cyber Valley, which is actually pretty interesting because if you think about how Mecha Phantom Beasts like to summon a bunch of tokens, Cyber Valley can be used with those tokens. You can draw a bunch of cards, actually pretty good. And then at the bottom we have the Buster Blader deck. Obviously I'm a big fan of Buster Blader, but it's not just Buster Blader. He is running plants, more specifically Predator plants in this build. Anytime you see Lone Fire Blossom randomly in a deck, this isn't plant synchro days anymore. Chances are people are playing like Predator plants in it. So obviously you get a whole bunch of fusion plays there with maybe super polymerization, excuse me, ultra polymerization and whatnot. So just want to tell you guys once again, this obviously is on YGO Pro. That has not been updated for links. I've talked to the people at YGO Pro, the actual developers of Percy. They told me that the update is coming soon, to quote them on that. So I don't know what soon means. They couldn't give me any more information past that. But I think that you guys will still enjoy this duel, even though obviously this is kind of like fake Yu-Gi-Oh at this point. But let's go ahead and roll it and see who will be the next king of low tier greatness. I believe Predator Plant Buster Blader is up first, and he's going to go for Darling Cobra, probably off of Scorpio. Yeah, there's a Scorpio. He's going to pitch. He's going to get Darling Cobra. That gets him the ultra polymerization. He's going to go for Chimera. I believe he's just going to summon this guy's back, and he's going to make a copy of Dante, which is going to get Glow Up Bulb in the graveyard, and then he's going to use the Glow Up Bulb. He's going to Synchro summon for Buster Dragon, get his Buster Blader back, get Buster Welt back, and then he's going to Synchro for Stardust Dragon, and it's like, that's actually a pretty decent turn. I mean, yeah, he doesn't technically go +1 because he still ends up with 5 cards, but I think that that's a pretty solid field because he has 3 really big monsters on the field. 2 of them have really big booties. In addition to that, he has his Destruction Fusion, and he has the what's it called, Destruction Memories, which both of these cards can be very, very useful. And of course, if he gets his 2-card lock of Destruction Swordman plus Buster Dragon, it's really difficult for his opponent to do anything. Now the Mecha Phantom Beast player is actually going to go a Synchro route, which is interesting. He negates Buster Dragon so that he doesn't have to deal with the lock potentially, and then he makes Stardust Warrior. So we actually have a little bit of a Stardust War, guys. If you guys are noticing that, we have Stardust Warrior on this side of the field and Stardust Dragon on the other side. So I guess we're going to figure out what is the most powerful Stardust monster. Now he tries to go for the lock here. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Lost Winds ends up negating Destruction Swordsman, and then when he went for number 38, Titanic Galaxy, his opponent actually launched the Stardust Warrior to actually negate that summon. So Stardust Warrior is actually putting in a little bit of work. Now it does mean his field's empty, so he takes a mess of battle damage straight to the face, but he does get his Stardust Warrior back during the end phase, so it's actually a pretty good investment there. Now here's the cool thing. Since he's going to get a token from Tetherwolf, as I said, he used that Cyber Valley, he's going to draw some cards, gets a Regeki, does not opt to use it because obviously Stardust Dragon would just be like, we ain't even about that life. Stardust Dragon would obviously negate it. Now his opponent is playing Struggling Battle in his main deck, but the problem is Struggling Battle isn't that good because he won't commit a bunch of cards to his field, so I don't know if Struggling Battle is that good here. He's actually going to Synchro for Clearwing Synchro Dragon. He's going to get rid of the Stardust Dragon. He could have used Struggling Battle there, but it wouldn't have done anything. It just would have fizzled basically because he would have had 2 cards on the field. Top deck's a Buster Welt, which is the perfect top deck. Gets Buster Dragon, Buster Blader. He tried to attack there, and I don't know if you guys caught that, but Dice basically negated the attack, but he was smart enough to fusion. This is still during the battle phase, so he ends up getting Destruction Swordsman anyways on the field. That lets him reset Lost Winds, but he does end up losing his Stardust Warrior, but that gets him Charge Warrior, and he draws a limiter removal. So I think it actually kind of worked out. He's going to go ahead and Lost Winds the Destruction Swordsman, so obviously he can just run it over. And I think he's going to summon Buster Blader. No, he summons a second copy of Destruction Swordsman, and then he ends up using, he ends up up using, I think it was either Prologue, I think it may have been Prologue or Memories from the Graveyard, and he gets his Buster Dragon out, and that basically gives him the lock of, basically it's like a continuous lose one turn against your opponent where they cannot activate any monster effects on the field, and their monsters all switch to defensive position because all monsters that they have on the field all count as dragons because of Buster Dragon. And then Destruction Swordsman is basically telling them no, 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 no. Now he does have that Regeki, and Stardust Dragon has been long gone, so he's actually going to nuke the entire board. So he does get rid of the lock. He gets a lot of value out of Regeki at that point, and it looks like he's kind of in the driver's seat, but a top deck Buster Whelp basically is going to put Buster Blader right back in this duel, and a lot of the cards in his hand are kind of dead. He uses I believe that's Prologue, and then he uses Memories from the Graveyard, gets a Buster Dragon, and I wonder if Buster Dragon is going to summon another copy of Buster Blader. I probably would, but let's see what he does. Yep, looks like he's going for that Buster Blader. Then he actually synchros for Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, which is really actually powerful, and I thought that he was going to be in the driver's seat, but then Speedboy Menko randomly comes down, throws everything in defense position, and I was like, dude, no one can get a decisive advantage in this duel. You look at card advantage, and it's basically even, both players having 5 cards to their name, and if you look at life points, there's only 300 life points separating these players. Obviously, I would say that Buster Blader has the advantage here because he has the bigger monsters, and Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, even in defense position, can still negate cards every single turn. So I would say that he does have the decisive advantage, but you never know. Creature Swap's going to be used. That's going to get negated. He did get the negate out now, so if he can throw something else on the board, he goes for Chambara and then activates Limiter Removal, which is going to get rid of both monsters, I believe. He uses Struggling Battle to actually get rid of the Chambara, and now we're in a top deck war, guys. Check this out, right? So he tries to end the game with this Predaplant Sundew, and he actually uses this crazy card called Defense Draw during your opponent's turn at damage calculation. Make the battle damage that you would take 0 if you do draw 1 card. That shit is so random, but it actually ends up saving him, and the Max C is in his hand, so he's going to try and use that, I believe, off of the Beast Lion's effect, but he's actually going to get 2 monsters on board, and unfortunately, they are more than enough to actually win the game. Actually, hold on. I don't think that he would have died, because this is 600 attack, and he had 700 life points. So he still would have had 100 life points, even if he didn't use the defense draw. But honestly, you never know. I probably would have used the defense draw, but that was basically the end of the duel. And it was a really good duel, because I had no idea who the hell was going to win. I thought when he made the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, I was like, okay, this shit's over. But Speedboy Menko randomly putting in some work. So if you guys enjoyed the duel, please give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. This video has been brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audible.com/MegaCapitalG. Over 180,000 titles to choose from on your mobile device. I'm listening to the amazing I Can't Make This Up by Kevin Hart. Link in the description.